Hello, darlings. Join us on today's show as we talk about pursuing excellence, not perfection. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Wake Up and Show Up Live. I am your host, Portia Scott. This is your daily show, giving you a daily dose of inspiration and empowerment. How are you guys doing today? I'm super excited to see you guys. Happy Wednesday. I keep getting the days mixed up. But listen, I'm so glad you guys are joining. I see Val is on. Thank you so much for joining, darling. Glad to have you. So, you guys, you know how we do it here. Where are you watching from? Let me know where you're watching from. And while you are thinking about where you're watching from, go ahead and share this broadcast. Share. I'd like to thank everyone who is listening in on the live show, but also to our replay viewers. Thank you for taking the time to come and watch our show and be a part of our community. Make sure that you share. If you are on Periscope, give us some of those hearts. Show us some love. And if you're in here, you guys know how we do it. If I say something or someone in our community says something that hits your heart, that speaks to your heart, that reads your mail, we say, hello, darling. So we want to make sure that you are in the place. Thank you. One of the things that we love to do here is we love to talk about what we are grateful for. What are we grateful for? And one of the things that I want to hear what it is that you're grateful for, because we all have something to be grateful for. And so I want to make sure that we dig into that, right? Because sometimes it's just like a little glimmer, a little glance of something. But what are you grateful for, my friends? One of the things that I am very, very grateful for is that I am not grateful for this pandemic. But what I am grateful for is the fact that it has caused us to slow down in life, the fact that it has allowed us to breathe a little bit and pause a little bit, the fact that it has allowed us to connect, hopefully, with those that we love and also with our neighbors, and not just the neighbors living close to you, but thinking of humanity as your neighbor. And so that's what I'm so grateful for. I wish this would not have happened, for us to have to take a break, take a moment to pause and to care for one another. But I am grateful for that. So one of the things that we do is the way that we keep in touch with you and you keep in touch with us is if you text the phrase wake up to 31996. That's wake up to 31996. If you text that, we know that we have your information. We'll let you know whenever we have a podcast that's released, a live show. We also send some inspiration and empowerment your way during the week. How can we serve you better? I don't know. You have to tell me. And so in order to do that, we ask that you would take our survey, that you would take the survey, let us know, give us your feedback. That's the only way that we can serve you better. We want to make sure that we're bringing a show that you love, a show that speaks to you, people that speak to you, interviews that speak to you. So you guys, I want to know. Hello. I want to know, how are we doing and what would you like to hear? One of the things that I would love to do, and I'm telling you guys, is I actually want to bring on talent on the show. So if we could stream live, if you have someone that sings, that plays, that would be a great Friday show. And that's what I'm looking to incorporate in our Friday show, is to have talent to come on so that we can see what other people are doing. So you guys, thank you. Hello, Paula. Hello, darling. How are you guys? So how is everybody doing? What are you grateful for? I'm so excited that you guys are here. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about doing it your way and doing it your way. And so today I want to talk a little bit about excellence, right? And I wanted to talk about excellence because it's not perfection. You guys, my hat looks like it's crazy. So I'm just going to fix it because it was bothering me. But excellence is not perfection. Perfection is not attainable. So we are not even trying to get there, right? I am a recovering perfectionist because I know it's something that you cannot obtain. None of us are perfect. We're humans. Stuff is going to happen. But what is in our control is the fact that we can be excellent. We can be excellent how we show up. We can be excellent on our jobs. We can be excellent in our businesses. We can be excellent in the things that we do in and around our house, in and around our community. And it is really showing up to be you and all that you are, but making sure we do it in excellence, right? One of the things that's so funny is that when you already know I've been in the Army, and so when we went to basic training, they teach you how to make a bed. I've been making a bed, sir, for all my life. But what it is the discipline of how they make the bed, right? Because there's a difference in making your bed when you just throw covers on it, when you just throw the pillows and it's made. But is it made in excellence, right? And so that's the difference. That's the thing that differentiates us from our peers. That's the thing that differentiates us from different people in our industry, in our markets, in what we do. And so that's why excellence is so important, is because all of us can do the bare minimum, the bare minimum. But when you do the best that you can do, then you're operating in excellence. And so one of the things I wanted to say is stay committed to what you're doing. Stay committed to what you're doing. Stay committed to what you're doing. That, my friend, inspires excellence. And because I just said that this pandemic, I'm not grateful for the pandemic per se, but I am grateful that it has caused the world to slow down. It has caused us to reevaluate what is important. And so I believe that one of the things we learned is that we had to really look at ourselves. We had to really look at our lives. And for me, it was about steadiness, right? Staying committed to what you're doing. At the beginning of the pandemic, I don't know how many of you got thousands and thousands upon emails of, you got to be doing this. You have to be doing that. You got to do this. You got to do that. And not only that, but what I felt like was that the emails that I was seeing, it looked like people who were once speakers are now doctors, and people who were once doing this, they're now doing something totally different. And so I was just like, wow, how much more important is steadiness in something like this. It's not just jumping out of the ship and going to another ship. It's not just jumping out of what you were doing, but it really was the steadiness. There were pivots, but it was steady. And so it just was like, even with my kids, that I became a homeschool teacher. And my kids always go in the refrigerator, always, even before this. And so now, why would I think that that was going to stop and I need to put them on this strict refrigerator only schedule or put them on these strict schedules? I needed to stay committed to what I was doing. And so being able to pivot is understandable, but pivot means that I'm taking something that I already have and I'm just changing it a little bit, right? So I have my dining room table. It's still going to be my dining room table, but maybe it has to pivot into a place where the kids now have to do homework. Or maybe my speaking business was a live business. So now I have to pivot and make it a virtual one. It's not that I'm changing from being who I am, but it is learning how to pivot in the place where you are. And when we learn how to pivot, whether it's in a pandemic, whether it's in a change in our workplace, whether it's in a change in our family, it's being able to pivot, but not necessarily change the whole landscape, if that makes sense. And so one of the things that I think that we've had the opportunity to do is we've had an opportunity to pause. We've had an opportunity to break, but I don't want you to stop doing what you're doing pre-COVID, right? So whatever we were doing pre-COVID, you can keep doing that. But I think it's important that we stay committed to what we are doing, right? So what does that look like? Well, I'm still going to show up and I'm still going to serve my clients well the same way that I did pre-COVID. I'm still going to show up and I'm going to serve my community well the same way that I did pre-COVID. I'm still going to show up and serve the church or community or my family the same way I did pre-COVID. It may look different, right? So if I am serving at my job, I am going to do the same thing that I was doing, but it may be virtual. It may be different. It may cause me to have to pivot a little bit, but I'm going to stand firm in who I am. Why? Because excellence is created in the repetition of doing stuff, right? It is created and like that repetition, it is changing those habits. It is making that bed over and over and over again. And that being something that, maybe the first time you made the bed, it didn't look right. Maybe the first time you started to do something, it wasn't great. Maybe the first time you started to serve your clients, it wasn't great. But the more you do it, the more you repeat and get better at what it is that you're doing, you change those muscles, you change that memory, and now you're like, okay, I got this. Now I'm making the bed a little bit differently. So I may have to serve differently. It may change a little bit, but it's just the pivot. But I'm still staying focused in what it is that I'm doing. And so one of the things that we did, even as we do the weekly COVID reminder and all of that stuff that we did, what you guys don't know is that show goes on some Sundays. I am super tired. I do this from Monday through Friday, and then I have my Sunday show, and I love all of it. Not to mention on Thursdays, we release a podcast, and I love it. But sometimes I'm tired. I am super tired. And so one of the things that I think about is that there was this one Sunday, and I was so tired. I had taken a nap. And we still showed up, right? And so excellence is still showing up. I was tired, but we still showed up. Not perfect, but we still showed up. Just this week, if you were on the weekly show this week, you likely saw when I no longer was a part of the show. Like Marty ended up ending the show for me. Why? Because in the midst of one of the segments, Miracle comes running downstairs, "Daddy, Maddox." And I hear her say that. And now my stomach drops because I have these people on the live show. We're trying to run this show. We're trying to be as professional as possible. And I hear her say that. My husband shoots upstairs. And then I literally am on the chat in the background of the studio of the broadcast saying, "Hey guys, Maddox got hurt. I need you guys to take over." Not perfect, but excellence. And so Marty was able to keep the show going. Daryl was able to keep the show going. Doc was able to keep the show going, even without me. So I say that because so oftentimes if we operate in excellence, it doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean it's all going to be right, but we're going to exercise, we're going to deliver in excellence. And that was delivering in excellence was, "Hey guys, I gotta go, but I'm gonna need y'all to take over." And they did. How many times was my internet not allowing me to be great? More than I can count. And so I would have to, one Sunday, it completely knocked me out. They had to keep the show going. Another Sunday, Doc's internet wasn't great. We had to keep the show going. And so I say that because oftentimes we see the things in the front and we're like, oh, nothing ever goes wrong. Nothing ever happens. Stuff happens all the time. But when you operate at a level of excellence, even when my husband comes around, I'm like, this is a good show. This is a professional show. It's excellent. It's not perfect. Sometimes there's things that I mess up. Sometimes there's words that I mess up. Sometimes I forget things, but I make a decision to try to operate in as excellent as I can, knowing it's not going to be perfect. And for me, if I am operating at the highest level of my excellence, then I've done a good job. And I think that's important. So it really is staying committed to what it is that you're doing, staying committed to where you are. And when you stay committed to that, right? When you stay committed to serve, when you stay committed to show up, the more and more you do it, the more and more you do it in excellence, the more and more it just resonates that, right? And so number two is excellence is not doing it the best, but it's doing it your best. Excellence is not doing it the best, but it's doing it your best. And so somebody else may be able to run at a higher level than you. Somebody else may be able to do something at a higher level than you. But what is your best? Because if you bring in your best, then that's excellent. That is your excellence. And so it's funny because this weekend, we had the opportunity to do like a drive-through graduation for one of our members of our church who graduated high school. And unfortunately, like many other high school seniors, were not able to have a traditional graduation. And so we all got in our cars and got together. Well, his father has this beautiful garden. Like, honestly, his garden is so beautiful, it made me want to garden. I don't like dirt. I don't like soil. I don't like any of that. I don't like heat, and I could care less about being outside digging up dirt. But his garden was so beautiful that it caused me to want to garden. And so we go to his garden, and he had built me like this 2x3 box so that I could start my own garden. But I go to his, and I'm telling you, he has rows and rows and rows of planters and stuff in the back. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. And not only that, but he literally has put in an irrigation system in his backyard. An irrigation system in his backyard. And so he has this system in his backyard. And I could have looked at that and said, man, I wish my boxes were bigger. I wish I knew how to do this, but I don't. And so it's important that we keep tilling the ground that we have. I don't have the experience as him, so I cannot put my experience on that. I have to put my experience with what I know, which is I got my 2x3 box. I got my soil. I got my little Miracle-Gro. I got my little tomato plant. I'm going to work with what I have. Excellence is not doing it the best, but it's doing it your best. And when you can deliver at your best, that's when you know you've hit deliver. That's when you know you've hit excellence. And let me tell you, doing it your best will put you light years against anybody else, because so many of us do the bare minimum. So many of us do what we can to get by instead of living in a cycle, living in a thing where we're saying, I'm going to be excellent. I'm going to be the best that I can be. Because when I look over at your garden and see your garden doing all of that stuff, well, I can't get there because I don't have the understanding. So how do I operate in excellence when it's something that's new to me? So am I going to go and read a little bit more about it? Am I going to get more education about it? So I'm not ready for that irrigation system that he had. I don't even know how to really pour the soil correctly. I had to call him yesterday and I had already messed up, right? But I am determined that I'm going to plant my flowers where they go. I'm going to plant my little tomato trees. I'm going to tend to my tomato trees. I'm going to water mine the way that I need to water it. I'm going to work on it because the growth of my garden is my responsibility. The growth of my garden is my responsibility. And the way that I do that is I operate in excellence, not what somebody else is doing, but doing the best that I can do. Putting out the best, delivering what I can do. And so that's the thing, that we all are the CEOs of our lives. We are all responsible for our output. And so we make a decision that we're going to be excellent. We're going to show up to that meeting excellent. We're going to show up in our lives in excellence. And the way that I do that is I keep tilling my ground. I keep tending to my own seed. I keep tending to my own garden. One of the things is that Portia, I am not a crafty mom. Like, I'm not doing paper maches. I'm probably not going to do all the great things that all the great crafty moms do. But you know what I do? is I play a mean Uno. I play a mean Sorry. I know how to go in and play hide and seek and sardines. I'm going to play tag with my kids. I'm going to run around with my kids. And so that for me is excellence. Because if I look at somebody else, hello, darling, if I look at somebody else and what someone else is doing, then it takes me off of the opportunity that I have to be excellent with what I was given. And so I'm not going to try to make myself to be crafty and to do, that's not what we do. But what we will do is we're going to play some good Uno, is we are going to play Sorry, is we're going to play Monopoly, is that we're going to play sardines and we're going to run around our house and hide. So those are the things. So that's why it's so important that we understand that excellence is not about doing it the best, but it is about doing it your best, because it looks different for each and every one of us. Excellence looks different from each and every one of us. I remember when I wanted to really start, in the military, it's really about paying attention to detail. And the reason why is because when you're in war, detail is everything. Taking care of one another is detail. And so one of the ways that for my own life, I started to create these detail habits. And one of the things that I decided was that, okay, one of the habits was going to be, if I saw like a piece of paper or candy paper or something like that, if I saw it on the ground, I was going to pick it up. Seems very little, but it's very detailed. And what it does is it establishes the ability to see the small details in other things. Because if I can go and pick up this piece of paper and throw it away, then I'll be much more likely to review my emails a little bit closer. I'll be much more likely to want to put on something even a little extra in what I give and how I serve. It's just going the extra mile. And sometimes it's literally the extra inch. And if you go the extra inch, you are light years ahead of so many people. If you serve just a little bit better, if you're able to go in and add just a little more value in your organizations, you have already exceeded what people are doing. And so that's why it's so important that we take off the perfectionist. We're going to have typos. We're going to have bad days. We're going to mess up and make the wrong decisions sometimes, not knowing it or whatever. But what people can say is, oh, but she's excellent. Yes, she may have messed up. He may have messed up. But we know that they operate in excellence. We know that they're going to understand, that they're going to till their land. And so what she is over, what she is in charge of, oh, you better believe that's going to be on lock. That's going to be good. Not perfect, but excellence. And then excellence, when you live in excellence, you inspire other people to do better. When people see you living, working, and doing in excellence, it pushes them to do better. It pushes them to do better. People are people. And so we can't change people. But what we can do is give people another opportunity to look at another perspective of what it is that they're doing, that they're delivering, or whatever. So no one wants to be left alone, right? So when you are delivering at a high level, people have no choice but to look at that. People have no choice but to see, everybody is watching the biography of Michael Jordan, which I have not seen just yet, but I'm going to see it. But everybody's watching that. Everybody gets a chance to see his work ethic. We got a chance when Michael Jackson was living to see how his work ethic was. We got a chance to see how Beyonce navigates in her work ethic with Homecoming. So they've taken the curtains off to show that they're not perfect, but they operate at a level of excellence, which makes them ahead in their craft. It is the excellence. It is the small things. It is the behaviors. It is those over and over working those muscles that I'm going to be excellent. So I'm going to be excellent. I'm going to be the most excellent mom for my kids. I'm not going to be perfect. My prayer is, Lord, just let me raise them to where they don't need counseling at the end of this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be an excellent version of me to the best of my ability. I can't think about the mom over there that created her own baby food and that does That's not me, but I'm gonna be the best that I can be for my kids. So maybe I can't create baby food, or maybe I can't do all of these things, but I'm gonna make sure they get the vegetables that they need. I'm gonna make sure that they're healthy. I'm gonna make sure that all of these things. And so when we talk about excellence, I really want us to look at our lives, and I want us to say, you know what I'm doing is I'm going after my excellence. And if you're not, you should. So I'm not letting you off the hook. But what I am saying is that I also don't want you to look over to the left and look over to the right. Don't look at me and say, oh my goodness, I'm not. I make tons of mistakes and I don't always do it right. And sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. And if I do it, I'm going to do it as excellent as I can, because people will look at what you're doing and aspire to do that, to be excellent, to come up a level. And so one of the things that happens is that when we create cultures, we tell people, one, how to treat us. We also tell people how to act around us, right? And so culture is everyone. If we want to create cultures of friendships and friendliness and love, well, then we have to show that. And the people that are attracted to that will come to us. And the people that are not, and the things will go away from us. That's exactly what the law of attraction is this, that you attract those things that are like you, and those things that are not, they tend to flee from you. So that's really at the basic. Obviously it's more, but at the basic level, that's it. And so when we're talking about excellence, it's not that people have to be perfect around us or anything like that, but it is that I've established a level of excellency in my life, right? So for me, I don't cuss, right? But I used to cuss. Honey, but the Spirit is working on me, the Holy One, but I used to cuss, but I don't anymore, right? And so when people are around me, just out of respect, not out of, oh my gosh, she's high and mighty, they may not curse as much as they usually do because I don't curse, right? And so if there's something that you don't do, if I come to your house and everybody in your house takes their shoes off, I'm not going to be the only one to keep my shoes on. I'm going to take my shoes off as a respect for you. And so when we live, when we work, when we operate in excellence, it causes other people around us to operate in that, or at least respect what we do. You guys know I say it all the time, integrity is the greatest thing that I have. And so even when I was in corporate and there were things that people may have asked me to do and that was towing the line for me, I had already created a culture of excellence. I had already created a culture of integrity. And so they already knew the first time they asked me, no, I can't do that because that toes the line to my integrity. But it's not lying, Portia. To me, it is. And so that's it. So I was never the one that they could come to and ask those questions to, because I had already created a culture. So we want to make sure that we're creating a culture of excellence and not perfection, because perfection is stopping you. Perfection is causing your procrastination. Perfection is causing us to stay in the same places, not begin and not start. And I want to make sure that we cut out perfection and that we just say, I'm going to do it in excellence, the excellence where I am. When I know more, then my excellence may go up another level, but I'm going to be committed to be excellent where I am. Because we are no longer procrastinating, and we need you to do it your way, because as we said yesterday, there's so many people that are looking for you. I appreciate you guys sharing your time with me. Listen. If you are on my page, I actually put in a link to our survey. Please go take our survey, because this is the way that we're able to serve you even better. I'm going to go to my page because I know a couple of you guys are on the page, and I'm going to put it in the page now, the link, so that you guys can take the survey. I want to make sure that you guys take the survey. That's so funny. I want to make sure that you guys take the survey so that we can serve you better, right? The way that we serve you is that when we're able to, I thought I had it saved, guys. Sorry. Is that when we're able to serve. Oh, actually, if you go up where it says join us as we discuss, the link is right there. So that's the way that we're able to serve you better. Cut out perfection and do it in your excellence. Yes, yes. Hello, darling. Good word. Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you so much for joining. Excellence is a good point of journaling for me. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Exactly. You do you, however you want to do you. Absolutely. 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 I'm not saying that we don't have roadmaps, but I think it is definitely time out for us to, I'm trying to be diplomatic, but for us to be us and stop trying to be other people, because we need you to live out loud. We need you to live your truth. We have enough copycats and all of this other stuff. And so we need you to be you. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you go take that survey. You all know we are here Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Also, if you guys know any talent, if you guys have anyone that you want us to interview, in that survey, I ask you those questions. Also, if you just want to say, hey, Portia, there's somebody that I know, you could always leave it in the comments. You can always PM me. There are so many ways to get in touch with me. If you follow me on Instagram, you can DM me. So we just want to make sure that we're bringing the best content, the best show to you. And the way that we do that is that we listen to your voice, and we want to make sure that it's fine that your voice is heard. Give us your honest and open feedback. So I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys know how we do every single day. We say this declaration after every show. Waking up is automatic. Showing up is intentional. Today, I will show up. Thank you, guys. I'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.